I'm shooting this video because I've been visiting some existing landscapes lately that are of different ages. Some are very new and some are a year or two old. And repeatedly what I'm finding is that people are underwatering their yards, and sometimes extremely underwatering their yards. So I just want to show you how to easily check whether you have enough soil moisture for your plants to keep them happy. You're looking at my yard and it's fairly happy, but there's some dry areas in it, and I'm going to go around and show you how I check for soil moisture. And then we're going to go into how to adjust your controller, your irrigation controller, to compensate when you have dry areas. And you could have overly wet areas, but the method for changing your controller is the same regardless. So the first thing we want to do is use the lawn as a barometer. If you've got a healthy lawn, what you want to do is take the screwdriver, a screwdriver, and preferably with about a 6-inch or longer blade, and basically just penetrate the soil to see to check resistance, and that will establish a baseline for how it should feel when the soil moisture is right for the rest of the yard. So this is one of the quickest ways to do that. The other way to do it is when you can find exposed soil, like here I'm checking with the screwdriver, but now I'm going to actually get down and expose some of the soil, and I should be able to make a dirt clod that holds itself together if there's enough soil moisture. If it's too dry, I won't be able to make a clod, and if it's marginal, I'll be able to make a clod like I did here, and I'd like to be able to break that in two fairly clean pieces. Now see it crumbling a little bit? That's not terrible there, because there's a lot of organic matter in that soil and some of the stuff was getting in the way. So that's very close to really nice available soil moisture, and those plants look happy. That's part of what you're going to look at, is how does the plant look. And so I would tell you this is as close to ideal as I would find in my yard for the shrub areas. Now here's another area that's not even in the ballpark. It's similar plants, they're perennial ground covers, and the soil is very dry. I have a lot of rocks in my soil, so I have to prod around a little more, but see how dry this soil is? So obviously in this area I'm going to want to increase the amount of water that sprinkler system is getting, and see some of these leaves are dried. Again, looking at the plant, you see some yellow stress in the middle of this plant, so I'm looking at the plant first, then I'm going to go in and check around the root zone. Now there is some moisture in the soil. The very top inch isn't usually the best look. See, I'm going a little deeper. See some moisture there. But in general, it's fairly dry. And then when I do the dirt clod test, it's not wet enough. So that area is going to get some additional moisture on my controller. Next, I just want to show you, if you don't have mulch or plant cover, look how crusty the soil gets. Now when you try and apply water, it will tend to run off and not seep in evenly around the roots of the plant. So you're going to see in a minute where there's nice mulch coverage and the soil is very fluffy and the pores are wide open. So make sure that you keep mulch where you have areas that are not covered by the plant itself. Look how nice this soil is. It's very fluffy and light. It's full of organic matter, but also no crusting at all. And then when we apply water in this area, it goes right into the root zone. See, there's even roots right near the surface because they're so happy. It's nice and cool and moist, and that's what the plant root really prefers. Now that we have a sense of the different areas need for water, we're at our controller, and this is a typical Rainbird controller that we use. So what one needs to do is set the button to set valve run times, and that's what you're going to see me do here. When you do that, here's a close-up. Turn that to set valve run times. That tells the controller that you're wanting to adjust how long each valve is running. Now you go over to here and you see that valve 1 is flashing. It's in program B, as you can see up at the left there, and I'm going to valve 4. That's the one I want to adjust. I want to add about 25% more water, so I'm adding 2 minutes to the 8 minutes, and that's how I do it. That's essentially it. Now you're going to want to manage that, and see, now this is in program B. That's important. The reason I'm showing you that is because if you turn it on and you go to valve number 4, and like it's in valve program A now, look up here, now it's in program A. Now valve number 1 has minutes on it, but number 4 does not. That's because valve number 4 is only supposed to run in program B. That's a critical point where a lot of people make a mistake, is they start trying to run their valves in different programs. The reason you have one valve in a different program is because if I put all my lawn together, then I can control that better than if I have lawn and shrubs and drip all in the same one. So we tend to put our lawn in one program, our shrub spray in another program, and our drip in another program. And if you have a veggie garden, we'd put that in another program as well. This just gives us more control over the timing and how often and when those areas or those types of plantings are running. Okay, so it's important if you turn that on that you check which program the little button is in before you start adjusting things. If you see that it has 0 minutes listed next to it, then it's probably in the wrong program. So if you look here, you see program B up in the upper left corner for number 4 valve, and there's 10 minutes. Okay, so that's how you do it. That's where the pluses and minuses are there to change the different valve number or the number of minutes and make your adjustments accordingly. Once you've made your adjustments, then you're going to want to wait a week or so, or maybe a few days if the weather is extreme, and see if the moisture level has changed enough to where you're starting to get the right results that you're looking for. Okay, so that's really all there is to adjusting your sprinkler system, but you need to make the connection between what the soil is looking like and how much time needs to be on the controller to get the soil moisture up to the right level for what the plant is needing. If all of your plantings were generally too dry, then the other thing to do is to run the entire program more frequently. See, the thing is this clock right here can be talking to a weather station, and all of that gets managed in terms of how often does it run it. But if it doesn't start off with the right run time for the valve, it can't manage it. So that's why I've gone in and added the minutes I did to this valve, because generally my system's pretty good. So I'm fine-tuning it by the adjustment that I just showed you, and that's an important distinction. If your whole yard is 20-30% too dry, then what you need to do is run an extra day. Like if you're running every other day, what you want to do instead is run every day. So part of what you need to look at is, do I have an automatic system that adjusts based on the weather station and talking to that, or do I need to set that myself? If you've got to set it yourself, then this is the way to start. And then there's a percentage adjust button that as the weather is changing, you can change the percentage adjust button for the entire system, which makes it super easy. So part of this depends on what type of controller you're starting with. But I wanted to at least cover the basics on this so you're not afraid to make adjustments to your valves to give the plants what they need, because if you don't get that right, no matter how good the plant design was, these plants will never thrive if they're not getting the water they need. And if you have more questions, call me directly or call your contractor to help him get you set up. If you're a long ways off from having it right, that's what I recommend that you do.